Alright, so, hey, it's Explode When Defeated. That's where you're at right now, on, the internet, on YouTube. And, I'm here to talk to you about, just the, so much Tokusatsu news, and a lot of it broke this morning, so I'm just gonna get right into it. There's a lot. So let's start at the top of the week, the beginning of the week. It was around Sunday or Saturday. Kamen Rider Zeo just aired its 42nd episode, I believe, and after the broadcast of that episode, I believe there was a cryptic ish kind of. I mean, it's not that cryptic, but it was just a weird video was put up on the Kamen Rider Twitter. That was of a lady, a newscaster, with some kind of insignia on her chest, on her I believe it was just like on her like near her neck or whatever. And she had like these white like earpieces on that looked robotic in some way. And she announced that on July 17th there will be an announcement for the next Kamen Rider, the first of the Reiwa era in Japan. This is not that day, so a lot's happened since then. Things have leaked, but we are still a week out from that announcement, so I am planning on probably doing a follow-up video to this, like a part 2, that has all the information from that, if there is like a lot more information that comes from that, like especially if there's like staff announced, like who's writing, who's directing, actors and stuff like that. I will talk about that. If that is what is announced on the 17th, then expect a follow-up video. Oh boy, you're getting like nearly a month full of Explode When Defeated videos this July. Aren't you so special? So that's the first piece of news. Everyone's like, oh shit, you know, because that's the earliest Toei has talked about a new Kamen Rider in a as long as I have been around. Maybe ever. So yeah, it's a big deal that this is happening. Like they usually wait until like August, maybe September, sometimes, to talk about it. You know, aside from leaks. So the second thing is that Mill Creek, a company that deals in you know, subtitling and distribution of different shows. They just put out a Mothra Blu-ray in the States, like literally like yesterday, or you know, last week or something. And they announced, along with Subaraya, because yesterday was Ultraman Day, that literally all of Ultraman has been licensed by the company for distribution in the US, which is huge. In terms of, at least in my memory, this seems to be one of the biggest licensing deals I've ever seen. Because that's, like, they said it's 1,100 episodes and 20 movies. That's everything. That might even include Taiga. You know, like, that is everything at the very least, from Ultra Q to Rube. So, if you watched and enjoyed my Ultra Q and Ultraman videos, there is now a legal option for you to get into those shows with subtitles that actually seem to be on par, because they put up preview segments of both the first episode of Ultra Q and the first episode of Ultraman, because those are the first two that they're going to be putting out. And the subtitles look much better than what we had before, in terms of both, like, I'm not completely sure about fan sub side, but like at least in terms of things that have been sold on DVD from even Mill Creek themselves, like the quality is much better than what we used to have. Because I think there's an Ultra Q by Shout Factory, like that's floating around, and then Ultraman by Mill Creek that's floating around and stuff that don't really have very good video quality, don't have very good subs. These are Blu-ray masters or HD masters at the very least from Subaraya being used. So like the video quality at least is going to be much better, and the subtitle quality we'll have to see. But like Ultra Q and Ultraman at least seem very very good. I'm excited to see what the next sets are going to be, if they're going to be Return of Ultraman and 7, or if they're going to be like Rube and Geed, if they're going to do that kind of back and forth thing that like that Sentai has been kind of doing with Shout Factory. So yeah, Sentai and Ultraman are actually kind of accounted for now. I wish Sentai would get its movies brought over. I wish they would put in like movie packs. But Sentai and Ultraman are actually kind of accounted for now with on the DVD side in terms of distribution over here in the States. It's really just all of Region 1, and anything that can play a Region 1 player can play it. So I think PS4s are region free, so if you have a PS4, you might be able to play it and import it, even if you're not in the States, but we'll see. But this distribution, I think, is just a good thing in general. But yeah, so I'm very excited about this news. This actually that actually is probably the news I'm the most excited about this whole thing, just because it at least makes my job much easier, because I was about to run into a wall with in terms of Ultraman shows that I would run into where there's like no subtitle option whatsoever. So, anyway, now on to scans. The first up is Ryusoulger because it's very short, because I don't think it's complete, the Q4 scans for Ryusoulger, but let's get into it anyway, and if there's more that comes out that's like particularly interesting, we will talk about it next week, because I will probably already be talking about 01 again next week. Jesus Christ, that's so much video. So we're already 7 minutes in. I am not confident about myself keeping this short, but the Q4 listings, I've got this one like kind of listing image thing. A lot of this is courtesy of Dukemon at that the real Matt Hunt on Twitter, and then a bunch of different like Facebook groups and stuff. So I have a hard time crediting like everybody, but I'll try and credit as much as I can. There's this image here that is like just raw, just text toy listings, and it's talking about a DX Yoku Ryuo, which is a new robot, a DX Max Ryusoul Changer, and a Max Ryusoul Red figure. So it looks like the big upgrade of this year is going to be Red exclusive, which is like maybe just a bit disappointing, but I do think that a lot of the armors and stuff can probably be used by anybody, but we'll have to see. If not, then I mean, I don't know, the show's good enough as is that like I'm not gonna complain about that. Like I'm pretty chill with what's with that show right now. That show is doing some cool things. So the next thing here is going to be the actual pictures. So the new mech is going to be a pterodactyl. Looks like it's an ice pterodactyl, which is pretty interesting. It looks like there's like an egg or like a penguin, like little mode here, kind of Bakugan-esque, if you will. And then it turns into a pterodactyl, and then a big robot, a big man, big boy robot with like a claw on its hand. Very cool stuff. And then there's this claw, which is the Max Ryusoul Changer, I think, which is very cool because I think since like Geki Chopper, there's not really been like a claw changer. And Geki Chopper was 07, so that is a long time ago. It has been 12 years, and I think that's the Max Ryusoul Key, which kind of just looks like the logo on the Henshin brace and stuff. So, very cool. Henshin brace transformation device. I'm trying to keep this like to where like anybody that isn't super ingrained to this stuff can probably get something out of it, but I don't know that I'm going to succeed there. And then there's another picture of that's kind of just more just the robot. And it looks real. I like the clear blue plastic on this thing. It looks really slick. It looks cool. I can't wait to see like the actual robot suit, because the suit for the Mosa Rex robot, the gold robot, was better than my imaginations could have taken me from those scans. So I'm very excited to see what this ends up looking like when it comes to the full scans. But in the corner here is something very interesting. There's a combination that is kind of reminiscent of Spino Thunder, which is Dime Volcano and Mosa Rex, which will be debuting like next week or this week in Ryusoulger. So it looks like just something similar is going to happen there with the Pterodactyl and Tiramigo, but it looks like it will become a dragon of some sort, like an actual like European dragon, which is pretty fucking wild. I can't wait to see like the in-lore explanation for that or whatever. Like, that'll be really fun. There's talk about the fact that this mech may come with a seventh member of the team. I kind of hope it does, just because I really like non 5 or 6 numbers for the teams, just because it's cool. The rumor is that it is a white hero, like it's a white ranger of some sort. But I kind of hope it's like, oh no, I think the possibilities are endless as to who that could be. People are kind of theorizing that it may be the mayor, or not mayor, the prime minister that was in the 13th episode of the show, which is probably like my favorite, or one of my favorite episodes of the show. So that would make me happy. I'd be pretty into that, because that character is really, really interesting to me. So yeah, next up, and it's the last picture that we have at the moment of Ryusoulger. I may be speaking too soon on Ryusoulger, but whatever. We're recording the video. We're going now. Yeah, it shows just how the Max Ryusoul changer is gonna work and stuff, and it's got a little sketch of the of Max Ryusoul Red, which looks like it's incorporating some gold, some green into it. Kind of reminds me, God forgive me, because I hate the incessant Kyoryuger comparisons, because like, yeah, it's kind of similar, but also like it's different enough for me that I think like it totally stands on its own. So the Kyoryuger comparisons are just honestly annoying, but it kind of reminds me of Kyoryu Carnival, which I am not going to complain about, because Kyoryu Carnival is one of the best. It's one of the best designs for for a red upgrade in a long time. I really like that one. But yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it for Ryusoulger. So let's move quick, because what is coming next? What we've got for 01 is absolutely unbelievable. I'm gonna take a break for a second. Okay, I got 13 minutes in without even talking about the big thing, which is going to be most of this video. So, Jesus Christ, I hope to God this isn't an hour long. Alright, so Kamen Rider 01, the successor to Kamen Rider Zio, the successor to the Heisei era, the first of the Reiwa Kamen Riders, is here. That we now have all of the pieces in terms of what the beginning of the Reiwa era looks like. The beginning of the Reiwa era will be Ryusoulger, Ultraman Taiga, Kamen Rider 01, Dinosaur Sentai, uh, Ultraman about the successor to Taro, a fan favorite, with new lively energy. Love that first episode. And now 01, which is, I'm just going to pop up the picture with, like, everything that's, like, ridiculous and has a lot of information. It's a lot, and, but the biggest prevailing thing is that it is animal-themed, and it is very, like, future tech, cybernetic, it kind of looks like O's by way of Kabuto. For anyone that's seen both of those shows and kind of knows the design aesthetics of both of those, it like O's by way of Kabuto with a dash of like Kuga and stuff. Okay, so let's actually get into it. So here's the first big picture I'm going to show you. This is 01. This is our main rider, and this is his belt. And this is the Henshin gimmick. The Henshin gimmick is like that of cassette tapes or SD cards. I think there's kind of debate. So like a lot of this is not completely translated yet. I'm gonna kind of just wait until the 17th to give like concrete information on things, and we're just like, okay, what are we actually looking at? But I'm just going off raw, just feelings right now, okay? So just to let you know, this is minimal on actual information and maximum on raw, just fucking just feelings and reactions. All right, this is as close to unboxing reaction videos you're gonna see, at least for a while, before I completely sell out. So one, it is perfect that this is a grasshopper. I was thinking maybe this will be the year that they actually do insects again, because they've got to kick off the era right. And Kuga kicked off the era of Heisei with insects. Double did not, but Double was so reminiscent of early Kamen Rider that it kind of gets by on that alone. It is just it's the spirit of Double that really gets that thing going, in terms of, like, starting off the new era. Even though it was kind of just the demarcation of, here's the 11th rider, so after the first decade. And then, you know, and it is, and the cassette tape here, you kind of have to squint to read it, but it is Rising Hopper, which is a perfect name for the base form of the new rider for the new era. Because Hopper very much correlates to the beginning. It is Showa. It is the original Kamen Rider. You know, he was originally he is the Hopper. He's the Hopper cyborg man. You know, he's based off of a Hopper, and a grasshopper. So I'm like rambling here, but the rising part is super important to me too, because rising is the demarcation they used for the upgrade forms of Kuga. So it is merging together Heisei and Showa in that way, and hopefully making something completely new. Another thing that I fucking adore about this belt is everything. There is a gyro in the middle of it, for God's sakes. That thing is gonna spin, and it's gonna be the coolest thing ever. It is. So the original Kamen Rider, if you're not familiar, has like a fan inside of it, like inside of the belt. It's a gyro. It spins. He basically has to gain speed, and he jumps and then transforms and stuff. So you have to spin it. It's a turbine. It's a cyclone. Like the bike is called the Cyclone for that reason. So you've got this belt. It's got a gyro in it, for God's sakes. It kind of looks like the build driver a little bit. It's got that late Heisei, like, loud, you know, aesthetic to it. It's a lot, and I love that mask so much. It it's so Kamen Rider. You know, it's kind of just one of those things you think of first, because, you know, I may not love the show, but Kabuto is one of the first things I think of whenever I think of what a Kamen Rider looks like. It's so perfect. It's in design. It's just that, you know. Kuga, you know. So I think of insect. I think of big insect eyes. I think of all of that. So that's perfect. That's a lot on this first picture, but this first picture really meant a lot to see immediately. Second picture. So there is the holder for the little gimmicks. That is, it's like the little cassette tape things. And the second one, the second gimmick that we're seeing here is Amazing Hercules, which is off of a Hercules beetle. So I can't fucking wait to see what the design of that one, because that's sick as fuck. And I'm pretty sure, like, Blade is based off of a Hercules beetle. And, yeah, no, that's amazing. Like, 2 insects already. But it's not all insects. Before we get to the other animals, though, let's talk about this bike, because it is exactly like Build's. It is a smartphone that flips out into a bike. It's very simple. We don't have to spend a lot of time on this. It looks like it plugs into the belt somehow, though, so that's weird. Is it like a phone that he just like slides into his belt, and then a bike happens? I don't know. We'll have to see. That is kind of interesting. Sorry for all the clicking. So here's a secondary rider. Already, we got a second one. I was kind of a little bit too confident that whenever we would start off with the new era that we would have one rider for a good amount of the show. That is emphatically not true this time. They are doing things different. It is Reiwa. No rules. So here we go. We have Kamen Rider Vulcan, I believe. And he is a wolf. That is very cool. And his belt is a gun that straps to his fucking belt. He has always got that motherfucking thing on him. And his cassette tape thing. Hold on, there's a name for it that I think people actually translated. It is the Progrise Key. That is the name of the gimmick. The Progrise Key, his Progrise Key is Shooting Wolf. So we have Rising Hopper, Amazing Hercules, Shooting Wolf. I really, really like the dumbass idea of it being a gun that it just like kind of clips to the belt, and that's how he transforms. So it'll also be his weapon. So after that we've got we'll come back to him though. After that we've got the main weapons for the main characters. We've got, and it looks like they're all briefcases of some kind. So it kind of reminds me of G3X, how he has like kind of a briefcase that folds out into like a Gatling gun, and then you hook onto it and it's like a rocket launcher. So yeah, that's awesome. Also, by the way, Agito video coming out late this month. Writing on that script right now, getting it all ready to go and stuff. It'll be a good one. But looks like 01's turns into a sword, which is cool. It looks like a big sword, but also these are the toys, so the proportions will not be right. Vulcan's looks like a shotgun that it folds out to, which is also very, very cool. Reminds me of Kamen Rider Spectre from Ghost. And then the last one folds out into a bow, which is very, very cool because I love the Sonic arrow from Gaim. And also the bow thing that and that was an X-Aid. So we're gonna come back to that though, because it seems to me, and we don't have like a base form yet. I don't think pictured. I'm trying to look. But yeah, there is a third rider. Named Valkyrie. And from everything that we've seen, it looks like she might be a woman. And yeah, so I'm trying to see where... Yeah, I'm not seeing any hard pictures for Valkyrie yet. So let's look at this other picture. This next picture has different forms. So there's Flying Falcon, Biting Shark, Flaming Tiger, and Freezing Bear, which look like all belong to 01 because they've all got the same belt as him. Though only a couple of them look to have the yellow accent. Actually, I think all of them have the yellow accents, at least somewhere. So that's really interesting. So it changes the mask and it changes the breastplate mostly. And then whatever else just kind of comes with it. But these are all super, super cool looking. But here are additional forms for the other two. It is Punching Kong. That's my favorite Donkey Kong character. Punching Kong, who is for Vulcan. He's getting all buff and everything. And then Lightning Hornet, who is for Valkyrie. And I want to take a look at the mask here. Because whenever you look at the way that female riders are designed, when it, from Kamen Rider Femme, great name, guys, on Ryuki, or Kamen Rider Marika from Gaim, or any other female rider, of the very few we have to choose from. This mask reminds me of the way that they would normally design those. So, while I think it is safe to not hold our breaths here, even though the Kamen Rider is named Valkyrie, and that would imply female, that would imply woman, I am not gonna hold my breath because Toei has disappointed many times before. But I am very much on the team that this is a woman, because it just, the way it's designed, the lines and everything, I don't know, just something tells me this is it. That, like, we are getting a female rider at close to the beginning of the show, because this is the first quarter toy scans. This isn't everything that the show will ever have. This is the first quarter. So, just from that alone, I think that is very different. We usually never get something like that. So, that is a very interesting choice that they're doing a female rider to begin with. And she looks like she's tied in some way to Vulcan, because they both transform with the gun on the belt. And the gun belt, so the belts, the 01's belt is called the DX Hiden 01 Driver, which is very much in the naming scheme of Heisei riders. But the, or at least the recent crop of Heisei riders, but Valkyrie and Vulcan transform with the DX AIMS Shot Riser. So that tells me that they might be a part of some type of organization. And they may be trying to hunt 01 down for the first section of the show or something. They may be aligned with the police in some way, or with some other type of just organization, kind of like Zect or something from Kabuto. That all remains to be seen, but that's my assumption from that AIMS thing. So let's see where we are. And then, okay, and then there's another one, very blurry picture of some, I don't know what these devices are supposed to be. They look like holders for something, but I can't tell. But this is a form I believe that people are calling Rushing Cheetah. I don't know that there's another place where it's more clearly told, because I can't read shit from that. But this, with the yellow eyes and the lines on the mouth and stuff, I believe this is another Valkyrie form. So I'm glad that the secondary riders are getting multiple forms as well. Not as many as 01, because 01 is the star of the show. But they are getting something, which is very interesting. Let's try to move on some more. here is Breaking Mammoth, and it is a big ass robot. Reminds me of the weird robots from Zeo. So you know, those must have sold in some quantity, because now there's this, and it comes with an elephant. And I do like, though, that it kind of reminds me of the watermelon arms from Gaim as well. So you know, just enormous animal, you get an enormous suit, which is a giant mech suit. This will be used maybe 3 times, but I appreciate the gesture. It looks cool. But yeah, so this other thing here is interesting. This kind of shows most of what we already have here. We have the Rider Kicks figures, which are like just the action figure toys in the line. That they've been doing them since Zeo and stuff. So I believe it may be before Zeo, but Zeo is the one that immediately jumps out to me. And then so we've got a nice full bodysuit look at 01, and he's so stripped back. It's so basic, you know. It's just black and yellow, with just piercing red eyes. They probably light up. It's probably sick as shit. And then, you know, when it comes to like being more complicated and stuff, that's for upgrades to come in and do, you know. So I like that it's not too busy from the beginning. And then we've got figures for other forms, like we've got Vulcan here. We've got Rising Cheetah. That's you know, Rushing Cheetah might be Valkyrie's starting form. Thinking about it here, seeing this right here. And then there's this Purple Rider that I think we'll get to in just a second, and then this pink one that I have no idea what that's about. And then these other two, which we'll get to very soon as well. So the Purple Rider, here we are. Sting Scorpion. This is a rider I believe that people have seen fit to translate and call Kamen Rider Horobi, which would mean he's no good. He's probably evil. He's got a different belt from the other two belts, which is interesting to note. I wonder if it transforms into some kind of animal or something, or if it's designed to look like one. I can't really tell. But this is a cool thing going on here. I really like, man, 4 riders already. With a possible 5th, because there's that pink rider that I know nothing about. Maybe. Okay, this is just a off the hand thing, because it's a pink rider and stuff. Maybe purple and pink are together and they're like an evil duo. And then there's Vulcan and Valkyrie, which are a duo that work for some organization. And then there's 01, who is completely by himself, who's fighting against kind of both sides. That'd be very interesting and would be a cool setup, and wouldn't just make it just complete chaos. There wouldn't be a rider versus rider thing. It'd be kind of like just a playing both sides type of thing. And then here, already, this is kind of interesting and early for this, is that we've got already upgrades of some kind for both 01 and Vulcan. Let me see what they're called, what they're supposed to be called. Let's see. It's like a rising progrise key. Oh, yeah. Kamen Rider Vulcan Assault Wolf and Kamen Rider 01 Hybrid Rise, I believe are the names. And these just look like more souped up, kind of busier versions. And they certainly look like upgrades. They look like they plug their chips / cassettes into another device and then plug it in. And the device they're plugging it into looks more like that animal. You know, there's more of a grasshopper thing going on with 01s. There's more of a wolf thing going on with Vulcans. It's all very cool. And then the last things here are, there is an actual live action picture that was found of Vulcan, which is very interesting. And that suit looks really good. Like, it is like, it's just a really nice looking suit. And then there's another picture of the actual like gun that he uses as well, with someone holding it. So, okay, so that's it. So, uh, my impressions really quick, because this is a lot and I've gone on for too long and I'm thinking about the render time. It's gonna be annoying. Um, the 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 feeling I'm getting from the show is that it looks like Build really did do numbers, because I'm getting Build vibes from this really hard. Build also started with a lot going on in the very beginning. There was Build, there was Night Rogue, there was Bloodstock, and then at the end of episode 12, somewhere around there, uh, there was Cross Z. So there was a lot going on at the beginning already, and this is kind of a similar thing, but maybe with even more going on. It also is carrying over that kind of cybernetic throwback aesthetic, though, because Build, something that I said about Build that looks like this is carrying on, is that it's kind of collapsing all of the different aesthetics and all the different ideas that Kamen Rider has done up to this point, just all into one thing and just kind of running with it. And Build, I think, really, really successfully did that. It was very, very good at what it did. I adore that show. It's really great. But this looks like it's kind of running in that same vein. There's a little bit of X-Aid DNA in it as well, I think. Just a smidgen of Zio. Zio is actually a lot more goofy design-wise, I think. A lot more kind of... I don't know if toy designs can be lighthearted, but it seemed like there was a bit more whimsy with Zio's designs. This looks a bit more like kind of, I don't know, like grounded maybe? A bit more, like a bit. It's definitely a bit more tied down, because it's animals. It is. This is only the second time we're doing just animals in general as a thing, whereas the first time was O's. And we're getting kind of like Kabuto vibes from the suits, and a little bit of Kuga. There's a lot of stuff going on here. There's a lot to pull from. This is a very, very busy toy catalog. There's a lot to go at, and there's probably going to be more that trickles out in the next day or so. But I'm going to call it there for right now. Just say that I really, really love what I'm seeing here. On all sides, this has been very, very good news. Just in terms of just all week, there's been very good news for the Tokusatsu community, and I'm excited to see what comes next. So might see you next week, unless like nothing of note happens in that like 17th announcement thing, but I doubt it. So I will probably see you next week to talk more about 01 if we find out a lot more, and then possibly more about Ryusoulger if we find out even more about that. But that is where I'm going to call it. I have gone on for way too long about this, but yes, I will see you later, and thank you for watching so much. I love you.